Gators.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to exclude all factory representatives present. And I mean it sincerely. We've dealt with all sorts. Some were downright hostile. I mean mean bastards. Some were completely incompetent. I don't know how they got out of the grade school, but some were terrific. And I think the ones here tonight are terrific. LaVaughn survived them all, and he patiently retrained them without ever losing the factory's respect or our franchise. And that's quite a job in itself. He always came to me with patience, cooperation, and recommendations. That's nice to have somebody come in with recommendations, not just problems. It made all of our thousands and thousands of hours together completely enjoyable. And that's very rare to say about somebody you deal with so long. He'd hear some of my more frantic, lunatic suggestions and never say no. But in the marvelous manner with which he would handle the customers we know as alligators, he'd listen, agree, and then help me come to a sensible solution. We all should, and I hope have, learned this technique from him. 99% of the people you know are okay. There's 1% idiots, and we wish they weren't customers, but 1% are bad, 99% are good, if you listen to them. He dealt with all of his problems with the same goal: fairness without fear, fairness to the people who work for him, and fairness to the customers. He wouldn't give away one undeserved nickel, not one.
You tightwad you?
Undeserved. But he refused everybody with dignity and deference, and explained why. And he never lost a friend. I'll really miss you, LaVaughn. I really will. And so will many, many hundreds of our customers. Solving problems with you was always a pleasure. It really was. And that's the bottom line in our business and really in life. Solving problems. That's what life's made of. But do it with fairness. You know, a lot of people left us, and it wouldn't break my heart if I never saw them again. But I really mean what I'm about to say, LaVaughn. I really, really hope I will see a lot of you. God bless you and best wishes.
Thanks, Mr. Aaron. Appreciate it. Will you be staying around for a little bit? So that we can get into the fun part of the evening. And we can give this old sucker what he really deserves. See? No more Craig. Really, LaVaugh's wife got some pictures across to me earlier this week, and we talked about it last week, and I appreciate it very much, sincerely. And I really thought that our projector upstairs would kind of handle this thing, and I could project it on a wall. Unfortunately, LaVaugh's pictures are rather old. Except a couple, and they don't project real well. So, if you will, take a look at this board, because I think it's important to him and every one of us here. And I put a few my little sharp barbs in there, you know, just to have fun. I do believe that that middle picture, which is the largest, is about an 8 by 10. that really was taken in 1900, but 1900 what, I don't know. We've got some employees tonight who have just swore they've got to get this little microphone in their hands. They want to talk about LaVaughn and really have some fun, but that's what the name of the evening is. Just have some fun and give LaVaughn a real good cheer and wish him well in his new venture and whatever it happens to be. He's not retiring, you probably know. He's retiring from errands, but he's just really getting started. He's got this big 40-foot trailer and big truck and all kinds of things, and he's going all over the United States. And would you tow my little car behind LaVaughn? I can take along something. Somebody's got to be first, right? Somebody first. We got what I think is the best first, and that's Tom Johnson. And Tom took the whole afternoon off. Tom took the whole afternoon off. No. Trust me, LaVaughn, frantically he raced about. You're right. He raced about our city. Tom, the schedule here that I have says you get 5 minutes. Now, really, you'll have to slow it down. When Tom gets the microphone in his hand, it's like you got to chisel it out with a chisel, you know. But 5 minutes, Tom.
Okay. Which one of us is going to stop him?
You.
Okay.
He doesn't listen to me.
No. Here's Tom Johnson, Aaron's new car manager.
When I was a used car salesman, I couldn't afford a briefcase. Now
Now you're in the big time.
now I'm in the big time.
Got a haircut.
Pretty good here. Let's put on my tie.
Right.
I have a few things here for LaVaughn. Starting out real quick. My introduction to LaVaughn was back in 1978, and I was hired as a used car salesman. I didn't know LaVaughn very well. I had Dave Larson for my boss, and everything was 50-50 for 30 feet or 30 seconds, and if you ever brought in the service department, no, it wasn't covered. Well, every now and then, LaVaughn would tell me to talk to Dave Larson, and Dave would say talk to LaVaughn, and it didn't work out. I think I forgot one of the things that I wanted here in particular, but we have my introduction was back in '78 when I sold my first new car. Okay, I happened to sell it to someone who had some problems. Okay, and being it wasn't Oldsmobile, no. And I had some problems, and I didn't know anything, and we had lots of problems that we couldn't fix. So they said, "Well, what do you do?" I said, "Well, call the Milwaukee Zone." Okay, I said, "Go in the back of your owner's manual, and there's some book that you get and something that you call the Milwaukee Zone."
That's our sales manager.
Yeah. Remember now, I was hired as a used car salesman. I didn't have it in his training. And that's when I first met LaVaughn Engen. That was about a 10-minute closed-door session. And said, don't ever go to the back of the owner's manual. And don't ever have him call the zone, have him see me, and so on. So that's the first time I met LaVaughn Engen. Believe you me, it did stick in my mind. Okay? And he still does remind me of it. Okay? A couple of other things.
Don't ever call this.
Yes, you really don't kind of call the zone. I said, but it says it in the back of the book. Well, no one reads the owner's manual. But you're right, LaVaughn.
Strict orders from
You're
the
right.
back.
You're right. Don't ever call the zone. Pages 91, 92, and 93, they don't exist. Just read for your recommended maintenance. No. We also did. I did a few other things I advanced to the new car sales department, and I sold some people. I think some of the factory people know who they are. Would the name Zimmerman ring a bell? Okay? Yeah. Okay. I sold the Zimmerman family like 6 or 7 cars, and they were real. There's Dale, and there's Todd, and there's and there's Dave, and there's Jim.
That's enough.
Yeah, and then Dale bought another car from me, and then we made a few more mistakes. But what we do, Aaron's has a little policy when you sell a new car, and just in case there's a little maybe paint flaw, which doesn't happen very often, but just in case there is, we write it down on the deal jackets. So in case the customer brings it in for some spot delivery, whatever reason that they want to get something fixed, well, they write it down. The service advisor can check the deal jacket and just see, for instance, if they have been there in fact, if they didn't get a door ding or whatever like that. So I pulled one deal jacket from a Mr. Dave Zimmerman on an '84 Cutlass, okay? This is what it looks like here, and I want to read some of the things that were on it, okay? Paint spot, left rear fender. That's sometimes. Paint, left rear hood. Paint spot, left rear roof. Missing trim on window. Seat misadjusted. Window misadjusted. Not enough air in tire. Okay? There's a rust spot on the lower side rear tailgate hinge under the rubber windshield molding when the sun is in the east. Okay? Those were, yeah. Those were a few of the things, and then there was a couple more in this one. Rattle at 32 miles per hour on Fridays. If the temperature is below 38 degrees, with the winds at 6 miles an hour southwest. Okay? And, you know, it's just one of those things that happen. It's kind of like whenever you go to the doctor, you know, it doesn't hurt. Well, whenever you bring it in, we could never get a Friday when it was 38. I swear to you, we could. So we got this guy here handled.
After the third Zimmerman, he
Yeah.
came in to me and said, "You got to do something about that."
Then I became new car sales manager. Okay. So I sold Todd Zimmerman a T-top. Okay. After replacing the weather strip 7 times, we sealed it up. No, but that's just one of the folders here on the Zimmermans here, and I did bring a few more here. Okay. Now I have something here in my briefcase for LaVaughn. Some of you have seen this is LaVaughn Engen service manager. It says has been in the automobile business for 40 years. I think this picture has been here for 40 years. If you've seen this picture, for those of you whose eyesight are failing you, I'm gonna pass out some pictures of LaVaughn here because this. I want to tell you a few things here real quick, okay? You can take and pass these out.
Your high school class picture.
Looks the same, doesn't it? Didn't age a bit.
But back when I started at Aaron's, LaVaughn was service manager, very successful, and so on like that. Excuse me. And then Bill Crook has been promoted and doing a great job, and Fred Dirth and so on. LaVaughn went to general service manager, excuse me. And we put him upstairs in the back room, and he reads the Automobile Weekly and so on like that. And now LaVaughn does dress very nice now, okay? He's very stylistic. He has new suits and new ties and so on like that. But when he started to wear nice clothing, that's when he got moved upstairs, okay? So if you take a look at those pictures there, that's when LaVaughn was at the height, the pinnacle, the complete success. I mean, that's it right there, okay? So he starts wearing nice clothes, you know? He gets nice glasses, and look what happens. He gets moved upstairs, and now he's gone, okay? And now I hear LaVaughn's going to automotive consulting now. That's what. And so I went out this afternoon at great personal expense, and the company spent some money. We got LaVaughn a new wardrobe so that he can go back out into the automobile consulting. Correct me if I'm... Okay, he's going to consult, but going like this, I mean, you see he dresses like this, and look what happens. He's upstairs, and he's leaving. So I thought I went out, and along with Bob, we bought LaVaughn some new clothes, okay? And I got to take off my coat here, because I'm going to model this
That
for you.
won't fit.
Okay?
Here, I'll hold it.
I'm gonna take this off here too, LaVaughn, because LaVaughn is, if you look up there, there's something about his tie, okay? And LaVaughn Engen is noted for, if you take a look at that picture, his tie there is very apropos, okay? So, I have the new LaVaughn Engen wardrobe here, okay? First of all, every successful consultant has a nice pair of pants. And you're talking Miami Vice and so on, but we got some LaVaughn. I don't know if these are gonna fit, okay? But
They'll fit.
I gotta turn my back to you once here, so I won't be rude. But I gotta get the LaVaughn Engen tie, okay? I gotta make sure that I tie it just
Mrs.
correct.
Engen has done a wonderful job.
And then we have the LaVaughn Engen new coat, okay? This is
I like that.
here's LaVaughn's tie and coat, okay? It's a little long, I do have to apologize, okay? But notice that's a very startling resemblance to what the picture is. And LaVaughn, in case you like the coat and it fits well, we got a few other ties for you, okay?
We'll probably be in Monday.
This one here goes real well with this coat here.
Right?
Notice the stylistic narrow.
Goes good with regurgitation.
But please remember, as you look at that picture that I handed out, these were the ties that made LaVaughn Engen the best service manager in town. And we wanted to get back to that area. LaVaughn, here's another one. This one has all different colors in it, okay? You can wear a brown pants, or you can wear beige, you can wear blue, gray. These do go well.
Yeah?
You can even put two together and get a real wide head. That really might work well down
You shouldn't have.
there. And then one other thing
I can see why it took him all afternoon.
we got LaVaughn some new glasses too. These are the wire rims. They don't work, okay? Depending upon which tie that he wears, he can have blue glasses or white glasses, whatever. You know, if you got the blue tie on here, you can wear
Right.
the blue.
Right.
Sometimes LaVaughn looks at customers through rose-colored glasses, and these are going to be rose-colored. So LaVaughn, on behalf of Aaron's new car department, I want to give you this coat. I got the price tag on it. I go to Goodwill today. True story, I got a $30,000 Cadillac Seville there. I come in, I'm kind of dressed kind of nice, and I go in there and I'm buying all these things, and people are looking at me like, I said, geez, it's my size. I didn't have a dealer plate on it. But I want to give that to you.
Thanks.
Actually, to be a little bit serious here, LaVaughn's done I have lots of customers who, they come in because of LaVaughn Engen to our service department. And it really is. He does very well with our customers, does very well with the factory. It's a combination. You can't always make everybody happy, okay? And I think he's done his best to make the factory happy, to make the dealer happy, to make the customer happy. In the new car department, it's kind of like we want the service department to help us out. Consequently, they want the sales to help them out. And LaVaughn's always made it a point to come up to our meetings to talk about factory warranties, what's covered, what is not covered, and so on and so forth. Always willing to help, always willing to come up and address a meeting or whatever, and always willing to sit down, and they'll take the time to personally talk to your customers. And there are a lot of people here who come to our dealership because of LaVaughn Engen in our service department. And I think that's something that we're going to miss. I think we have two good people in Bill Crookton and Fred, along with the rest of the technicians. So what LaVaughn has done here, I think, has paved the way. Our CSI shows it out for a real good service department. And if we sell the cars, you service them, we're going to sell them. So they all work together and so on. So LaVaughn, congratulations.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate
And
it.
sorry to see you all.
Thanks, Tom. I appreciate that. 5 minutes. That took a long time. The next one we got is kind of like some fun, and we're going to have him back up again. Chuck Anderson, are you ready for 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Okay. Chuck, come on up. You can probably come across the back here easier than anyplace else.
Just don't trip over.
Chuck Anderson, team leader deluxe, has a few words about LaVaughn.
Well, being Tom, it's just so much time here, I don't know what to tell you. I just want to say a few words about LaVaughn. You know, through the years, he's taken care of a lot of happy customers, a lot of good customers. But like Mr. Engen said, you always got that 1%. And that 1%, you know, sometimes you can always remember the happy ones. So just something to remind you of all the bad ones, I just want to present you with something here. That's all there.
That'll be on my
Come on, LaVaughn, pick it up.
For the 1%.
The camera's shaking. Outstanding, outstanding. Outstanding. The next person who wants give me 5 minutes now. 5 minutes, Bill. He has a couple of little things about LaVaughn that are rather funny, and I think you'll enjoy it. Bill Crookton?
I've got a present for him, and it's on the serious side.
That's for my wife.
LaVaughn, could I borrow it once in a while?
I don't think I need him right, but I've got a little present here for LaVaughn, and you know, as the saying goes, many times you can live with a person for so long and you never really know them. And I worked with LaVaughn for many years, and I never really knew him until I was helping him clean out his office a couple weeks ago. And his chair. I've already got dibs on his chair, so mine gives me backaches. LaVaughn was the one that gave me the chair, so I don't know.
Give me an essay.
At any rate, a lot of you have heard this story before. It has to do with an upset customer. And a couple of unique things are related to this. And the first unique thing is, and the factory people will probably attest to that, Mr. Harris too, that's probably the only upset customer that we ever had at Harris. And the second thing is that he was very upset. He was from Jamaica, and you probably have heard him from Jamaica. Gary was there too to help out in the end, but we ended up, I was in LaVaughn's office taking instructions from LaVaughn, and this gentleman comes in and he's very upset. He's hollering obscenities, and LaVaughn very calmly let him yell, and everyone could hear him in the building. It was very loud. And LaVaughn very discreetly asked him if he would settle down and discuss the differences and whatever, and that didn't faze him. So LaVaughn was sitting there at his desk, and he scooted over to the side of his desk where he has his little library, and he's going to get the phone book to call the police. Well, this gentleman, thinking that he was drawing a gun, scooted, meaning he ran out of the office, and then Gary subdued him. He was very loud out there also, and Gary calmed him down, and everything was taken care of. Well, I'm gonna open this for LaVaughn because I don't know if he probably knows what's in it.
That was that goddamn gun I was looking for.
No, it's the phone book. It's the phone book that he's left behind. I found this in his office while I was cleaning out for him. And like I said, you don't really know the person, and you can live with them so long. And when I was cleaning it out, I noticed that, you know, we've gone through a lot of new age thinking and old age thinking. And I noticed that LaVaughn is switched over to new age thinking. But I found that he's really kept, if you look to the yellow pages, he's really kept one of the old age thinking tools in it that there I understand he's going into a new business venture.
Might need that.
He may need it for his customers or his partner. This one's loaded too, by the way. It's an 8-shot cat pistol. Very well.
Hold it open and wait.
Seriously.
That's what you've been doing for the last 2 weeks.
I'm probably wondering what all those little shavings were up on his desk this afternoon.
Really great.
Seriously, again, going to New Age thinking, as most of us know what that's about. And I want to thank LaVaughn for the opportunity, as Lou Tai said, to be able to carry the meeting. And you allowed me to do it, and I appreciate it. Thank you.
I have a little bit of a sequel to that story later. You'll appreciate it. The next person is not going to be surprised. He knows who it is. Wayne Rupert asked me to have a couple of minutes. I'd like to say a couple of kind words about LaVaughn, and some unkind too. Wayne?
Thank you. I was talking to LaVaugh's doctor the other day, and he said he's got to do some more golfing because he needs the iron. And you know, when LaVaughn and I was golfing in many of these golfing outings with Cadillac Parts and Service Managers Club, and I always wondered why LaVaughn wore 2 pair of pants. And LaVaughn said, well, that's in case I get a hole in one. I'll never forget, and it hasn't been that long ago, that LaVaughn and I went to a Parts and Service Managers meeting. And it wasn't that far away. It was in Racine, Wisconsin.
Oh, no.
Relax. And I said, as usual, I said, LaVaughn, I'll drive. And he said, good. He said, because I'd like to sit back, relax. I've had a tough week. And I said, I realize that. I said, you know, when I get to be your age, I want to sit back and relax too. And so I picked LaVaughn up at his house, and we commenced. And LaVaughn said, I know a shortcut to Racine. And I said, good, LaVaughn. I said, just sit back, relax, get the map out. It's in the glove box. And I said, you just tell me where to go. So we heads down the highway. We drive, and we're talking business. We just keep driving and driving and driving. And I said, Jesus, we should be getting into Racine pretty soon. And we just keep driving, and pretty soon I said, LaVaughn, I said, do you realize, I said, it says, welcome to Antioch, Illinois? He said, you gotta be kidding. I said, no. I said, that sign that we just went past said, welcome to Antioch, Illinois. He said, stop this goddamn car. He said, pull into the station. I pulled into the station. We were in Antioch, Illinois. And so we got our directions around, and LaVaughn got the map back out, and he said, I know where in the hell we're going. Just listen to me now. we got to Racine. Yeah, I think it was at noon, and we left at 8:30 in the morning. On a little serious note, I have a lot of respect for LaVaughn Engen. LaVaughn has been very good to me, and I wish him and his wife the best. And we're not finished, we're just begun.
Thanks, Wayne. Before I go with the next one, I want to acknowledge some guests that we have here. From Oldsmobile, Dave Bednarik. Dave. From Oldsmobile, Dick Neeson. Richard. From Oldsmobile, Walt Sislow. Walt. Now, from Cadillac, and the only representative from Cadillac, the good guy, Dave Madero. Thanks, Dave. The next, we don't have any other guests, I don't think. Have I forgot about anybody? Please let me know if I have. I don't mean to. The next guest, the next employee who said he wanted to say a few words. It's a joint effort by two people, but Gary Harper has been elected to be the representative to carry the tradition. Gary?
Delegation, Gary.
Nice suit, Gary.
He's got to get back up.
Yeah, nice suit, Gary. Gonna be able to call anywhere around.
I understand that. I'm not as skinny as I used to be. Well, I know that.
Right up there.
As you all notice, I am dressed a little different today.
Yeah.
Part of the reason is because Mr. Engen hired me. I can afford better clothes. I remember when I went to interview for the job, I'll never forget it. The ad in the paper said, body shop advisor, needed, or wanted, one of the two.
Requested.
Requested, whatever. Please, see Mr. Engen. So I drove up to the body shop, and I had the old age thinking. I drove up there and I went, excuse me, to the service department. Geez, I'll never do that. He'll never hire me. I drove all the way back home. Then I thought about it when I got home. I said, geez, I'll never know unless I try. So I drove all the way back in. Went in to see Mr. Engen, sat me down, asked me a few questions, whether I get along with people, if I know anything about body work. I lied. About 5 minutes later, he says, where do you live? I said, well, I live in Fitchburg. He goes, by golly, so do I.
Oh.
That struck a good relationship right there. I had a snowplow. It's a little gift Jim and I got together for Mr. Engen. Miss Julie gave me this when she was helping clean his office out. A lot of people know Mr. Engen as a real nice man with a smile on his face. Some people know him as a real bear. You'd like to open that up?
I'm almost afraid.
I'm shaking so bad I can't. You can read the card, too. Your notice is in there. You'd like to read it?
Well, congratulations, Mr. Engen. As you are no longer an employee of Aaron's Cadillac and Knowles, snow plowing is now $5.75.
Now, these were found under Mr. Engen's desk.
Well, take the card off, please.
Yeah.
Just take the
You
card.
can do that later.
Just take the card. I suppose you bought me a snow plow. You little dickhead.
No, but you'll be able to get through it.
Don't you? Sign it.
You might have to be a bearer at your new job with some customers.
So you'll have to wear that.
Thank you.
Now we get to the part after I subdued this Jamaican fella. I went in to see Mr. Engen. It was a little bit later, of course. I wrestled a guy for a while. He had a big smile on his face. I was sitting there going, now, how can he go through all this abuse and have a smile on his face? But I found his other phone book. He had this one hidden away for years.
Thank you.
You got one for at home and one for the office.
I'm glad this one.
Show me the book.
And I guess like everybody else on the serious side, Mr. Engen, hasn't been long, but it's been fun.
Thank you, Jerry. I appreciate it.
Let's keep together.
Thanks, Gary. I really appreciate that. We've got another employee who requested of me to have a few minutes, and Fred promised just 2 minutes. So, Fred, you want to come on up? It's important that I get a picture here, Fred. Fred Dirth is Aaron's assistant service manager. He keeps a low key. Most of us don't know him. He hides in the office. Fred?
Thank you. Upon finding out about LaVaugh's retirement, a lot of his favorite customers, and I might add, they were all women, were very much concerned with what he's going to do with his spare time now. And in their appreciation for the warmth that Mr. Engen had shown them, especially on road tests and some of the long meetings that he had with them up in his new office, they all chipped in together and bought him a present. And they wanted to show him their appreciation. And of course, they wanted to return some of the warmth that he had given them through the years. So they all chipped in and bought him this little present and asked me to give it to him.
This ought to be good.
Oh, boy, you want to get
Well, they said if it's not the right size, he can go into G. Stewart's and try on a new one. On a serious side, wrong side. If you wash it, it'll shrink. I'd like to congratulate LaVaughn on his retirement. Wish him the best of luck in the future. He hired me, and I feel he's laid a good foundation for my future at Aaron's Cadillac and Oldsmobile, and I certainly appreciate that. You bring it?
Fred, would I embarrass you if I asked you to define that gift?
What is it?
He was going to take up pipe smoking.
Fred told me what the gift was this afternoon. I've never heard that term. I'm not going to repeat it. Something else. Julie Childers, come on up. You've been LaVaugh's kind of service secretary for a number of years. Have a couple of words to say about the old fellow was retiring and living it up and was in his trailer in Southern California. I can't stand it. Come on.
Is this gonna be long, Julie?
No, real short, real short. I'm not sure if you know, but LaVaughn is a terrible speller. And I mean terrible. He forgets to cross his T's and dot his I's. And if he doesn't know how to spell a word, he just abbreviates. So we all know what the word is. But the one I like the best is he'd say, if something doesn't sound right, you can reword it. I've done that a lot. I got real good at recomposing letters. He misspells so often, it would come to the point I'd have to stop and think, is that the right way to spell it? Now that is real bad. If you try to tell him how to spell the word right, he'd just sit there and laugh at me. And he'd still continue to misspell. Now I know this saying is true. You can't teach an old dog new tricks. You can only really appreciate LaVaughn after you've worked with Bill.
I trained him, Joe.
But he's young.
Aaron and LaVaughn have been trying to modernize the term mechanic to technician for several years. But I'm not sure it's a good idea because he can't even spell it. He can't even call a car an auto. It's a vehicle. I wouldn't have gained as much experience typing for a grade school student. But seriously, I really enjoyed sharing an office with him for 7 years. You could ask him advice, talk to him, joke with him, and most importantly, he didn't give me grief like some people here. We all know what a lousy speller he is. So the reason I'm here tonight is so he doesn't call me for letter writing advice in his new endeavor. So here's the solution.
Gotta be a dick.
Bill.
Yeah. You know the funny part of it is. Julie never had to retype a letter for me.
Because she wrote him.
She knew what I meant.
Or else.
And that's being very perceptive.
You better see what's in the book.
Another gun. Thank you, Julie.
Thanks very much, Joey. Appreciate it. We got to come to a little more serious light for just a minute here now. We're going to ask Chuck Anderson to come back up. Chuck's got a little bit of a surprise for LaVaughn, and he may need some help in presenting it, but Chuck, I'm going to let you do it, okay?
Century 30.
I'm not so sure.
No, we're sensible now. Through the years, I've been at Aaron's Cadillac and Olds for about 10 years now. And through the years, LaVaughn has led us in many ways, helped us in many ways, and so on and so forth. All of us team leaders got together and thought it'd be nice if we presented LaVaughn with this plaque. It says, Award of Recognition presented to LaVaughn Engen for outstanding leadership and dedicated service as service manager at Aaron's Cadillac and Oldsville, presented by team leaders,
Oh, that's
1972 to 1986.
All right.
thanks, Chuck, and the team leaders. I know LaVaughn really appreciates this. It's a nice plaque. I looked at it this afternoon, and it's very different. It's customized. I don't know if you know that or not. That's important. You can't reproduce this one. Those particular pieces are off original equipment off cars, and they had it made. That's called customized. Very nice. Chuck Kamina. Walt, where's Walt? Okay, warranty parts, yeah. Okay. Good enough.
That's why our lot payment is so high this year.
Before I let LaVaughn say anything, you see, we're not going to let him talk. I got a couple more things. I didn't solicit you, so I don't know if you want to say anything, but does Oldsmobile have any comments about Laverne? Do you have any? I knew he did. You knew he did. Dave Bitnerick of Oldsmobile.
Thank you. I really appreciated coming out tonight. Peter Ahrens asked me to come out and say a few good words about LaVaughn, and I thought all the way out here what I was going to say. Found a service manager that was worse. Really, I was talking to LaVaughn tonight when I first came in, and I asked him what he's going to do now that he's retiring, and he said, well, I think what I'm going to do is get together with my wife, and we're going to go back to where we first got married, go back to the old hotel and try and get the same room. And his wife Laura interrupted and said, this time I'm going to go in the bathroom and cry. Really, though, on behalf of Oldsmobile, I've worked with LaVaughn for almost 10 years, and I think he's been a real credit to the dealership. He's been an outstanding performer as a service manager. I can't think of a finer man that I've had an opportunity to work with, and I think we're all going to miss LaVaughn, and it's going to be tough without him. Thank you. That's great, Dave.
Thanks, Dave. Being our only representative from Cadillac, and it's the good guy, do you have anything, or would you rather stay tight?
Come on.
Good. Dave Madero. Dave Madero.
I am retired, so officially I can't speak for Cadillac, but and I'm also a man of very few words, as LaVaughn knows at meetings.
Yes.
I noticed Dave Bednarik and I started contacting LaVaughn about the same time, didn't we, Dave? Yeah. And by God, you got a lot of gray hair now. I have to say this. Before retiring from Cadillac, I was with Cadillac for 33 years, and I bounced around from pillar to post and contacted many, many dealerships. And I've said this to LaVaughn, and I've said this to Mr. Ahrens, that by far, LaVaughn Engen is the best service director that I have come in contact with. Now, in 33 years, that has to say one hell of a lot for this guy. I would personally like to wish the two of you a great retirement and one of great longevity. And it's been a pleasure working with you.
Thank you.
I'm the last that's officially on the agenda, but if some of the other of you would like to say something about LaVaughn, you're welcome to come up. I sincerely mean this. About, I think about 4 years ago, we had our first employee night at Aaron's, and I didn't know how it was going to go. an idea I heard about, and several dealers had told me this works, this really works. So we had this employee night, and we had a caterer come in, separate caterer for the booze in the bar, and a separate one for food. We had a long table set up, okay? For those of you who were there, remember this. And midway through the evening, it was rather quiet. I'm super concerned about booze, and I'm going to make a comment on that now. But I'm telling everybody, I said, you can have a couple of pops, have 3, have what you can handle. Don't drive home from this party. We'll get you a cab. And as I was going around the party, it's only about a half an hour into the party, we planned on it being 2 hours, I hear this crash. And for those of you who were there, this guy wiped the bar out. Just, boom, it's gone, see? I said, oh my God, what happened? What happened? And it's LaVaughn. Now, I don't know, he stumbled, he tripped. One of our office girls accosted him. I don't know what happened, but I don't know what possessed him, and he did wipe the bar out. I mean, the table just all went crash, crash. We considered canceling employee night because of it. But it was a quirk of fate, and LaVaughn apologized, and I did too, and I thought, get him in a cab or something. We had good fun. For those of you who were there, we had a nice night. We didn't know, and he was out for a week too. He really was, right, Bill? And I'm calling Bill, what happened? What's the matter? He hurt his back, hurt his leg, whatever.
My God, he didn't sue.
He didn't sue us. That's important. I'm going to wrap the night up, okay? I'm going to wrap it up from the standpoint of official speakers. I've worked with LaVaughn since he arrived at Aaron's in 1972. And there are some pictures over here, and I encourage you to look at them if you haven't. LaVaughn Engen is something that I'll remember as long as I'm in the car business. For one thing, he worked for a quality company, he really did, and he represented Aaron's Cadillac and Olds. Well, I mean, he was always in there. I don't believe LaVaughn ever got mad, to my knowledge, which is something for a service manager, at anyone. Now, he got frustrated like we all do because of the demands of the consumer. But when LaVaughn is gone, and I think back on it, I'm going to know one thing. When all hell was breaking loose, when it was about to collapse and it's the end of the world, and the customer is screaming, and the technician is going, I can't stand it. When the writer is ready to walk out, when Julie is frustrated, there is one strength that came forth, and that's LaVaughn Engen. Now, right or wrong, that was a strength, okay? And here he sits, and he's going to be sorely missed, although he has a very competent replacement, because you can only develop this over the years. It's not something that comes naturally to a lot of people. Let's give a hand for a real nice guy retiring from Aaron's, LaVaughn Engen, and it's been a pleasure. LaVaughn's wife is here this evening. Let's give her a hand too for putting up with all this stuff tonight. Laura? I'm going to get out of this place, okay, and I'm going to the end of the table. I want to emphasize that I've asked the bar to be open. I know that. You're going to get it next, but not yet. You want it.
My turn.
Again, I want to emphasize sensible. The bar is open. If you've had too much, do not drive from this place, promise me, okay? The future of our parties and our company rests on it. Get a cab, get a hotel right here, okay? Let somebody else. The Sheraton will give us rooms at cost on this kind of a basis. Don't drive, but the bar is open for a sensible drink. And LaVaughn Engen wants the thing, and let me get out of the room here. Come on.
2 minutes.
I can talk better without my glasses on, because I really can't see. Shirley, is that you over there? Oh, all right. I want to tell you something. I worked several different places and worked with a lot of different people. I must say that Aaron's Cadillac Knowles have some of the best people that I know of employed. I've said many times, and I told Mr. Aarons this tonight, that had he fired me 3 years ago, I would still have to say that he was the best man I ever worked for. Believe me. But you see, I only have one person that I can really talk to when I have a frustrating day at work. And I go home, and my dear sweet wife is there, and she catches the brunt of all the crap that I bring in there. She knows my moods. When I step into the house, she'll say, "Did you have a good day?" And she knows not to ask anything more. I sometimes would go over some of the things that happened during the day because I had nobody else to talk to. And even though you may be a thick-skinned service manager with scars all over his butt, you still got to have somebody to talk to. She's the one. She's been my mainstay, and I appreciate her. Thank you.
Old service managers never die, they just lose their balls, or what is that one? LaVaughn, really, on behalf of Peter Aarons and Aarons Cadillac and all, we got a little gift coming for you. And Terry Winger and Dave Marks have agreed to present it. This is something that we hope you can use in your home and that 35-foot trailer in Southern California. I really mean it. It is from Peter Aarons, and it's thank you. And have a good retirement, and let us hear where you're at. DJ, you got to get pictures in close of this, okay?
Thank you, Mr. Aarons.
Just a tremendous. Oh, God. How can one person be so lucky?
Yeah, right.
Ron, God bless you.
I didn't plan this, but if there are some of you who want to say something about LaVaughn to the rest of the people, I'm going to leave the mic open here, okay?
And I'll turn the camera off.
The DJ's going to turn the camera off, and the bar is open sensibly. Thank you.